Hey guys, Brandon here. Wanted to create this short video to answer a question that comes up regarding the Restore California movement. And that is, how exactly is the Restore California movement going to restore California? And it's a fair question. And the answer is relatively simple to answer. But before I get into that, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, so that you don't miss any future updates from the movement. And by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time and you have no idea who I am, my name is Brandon Jones. I am running for governor of California in the upcoming 2026 gubernatorial election. I'm also the founding member of a grassroots movement known as Restore California, which exists to solve many issues that plague our state, including crime, homelessness, high costs, public education, etc. You can learn more about the movement in my campaign for governor by visiting restoreca.org. Okay, so let's get into the question. Again, how is the Restore California movement exactly going to actually restore California? So, in California, we have what's called a direct democracy. And that means that the people can influence the laws, right? Not just influence the laws by electing certain officials into office, but influence the laws by actually getting laws changed, laws removed, laws added. And this process happens through what's known as a ballot measure. And so residents of California can come together. They can gather a certain number of signatures and they can propose a change to existing laws or have new laws added, etc., whatever the case may be, to influence California law through this process known as a ballot measure. Now, in theory, it sounds very simple, right? Californians come together, they tell the leaders of the state legislature, we want these changes, and those changes happen, and everybody's happy, right? Well, not exactly. Like most things in life, it's very complicated to get anything done through a ballot measure. The main reason is oftentimes the number of signatures that need to get collected, even to initiate a ballot measure, are enormous. Oftentimes in excess of 1 million signatures. So while you may have the majority of Californians, and I'm going to give you an example of direct democracy that has recently influenced a very important law in California. But in order for Californians to come together in that magnitude, to get their signatures collected and to initiate a ballot process is usually very impractical. So what often happens in the rare cases that ballot measures are pursued and they actually go into effect is professionals are hired, consultants, contractors that focus on collecting signatures. So you may have, say, walked into Walmart one day and seen somebody stand outside of the clipboard asking you to put your signature down for a certain law, whatever it may be. I'm sure you've come across those people. Well, those people are probably standing there because a group of people behind the scenes has contracted those people to go out and collect signatures. So these signature collectors, if you will, usually charge somewhere between $4 or $5 per signature. So you can imagine that to collect, say, 1 million signatures to get something on the ballot through a ballot measure would be $5 million. Well, who has that kind of money to pull off that kind of an initiative to actually affect the laws in the state effectively, right? So it's often impractical. Now, there are cases where it's been effective and the laws have been changed. One recent example is Prop 36. So if you're unfamiliar with Prop 36, Prop 36 went into effect this last December, in December 2024. And what it did is it undid a lot of Prop 47. You say, well, what's Prop 47? Well, Prop 47 essentially, you could say, decriminalized certain crimes in California. So, for instance, theft, certain drug-related offenses, not just drug possession, but drug dealing, that should have been classified as felonies were, the classification for those crimes was changed. They were reclassified to misdemeanors, which means that people then were walking into, say, department stores, just stealing things, not even trying to conceal the fact that they were stealing. And as long as what they were stealing was valued less than $950, virtually nothing would happen to them. Yeah, they might get a misdemeanor, but it's essentially a slap on the wrist. Within a few hours, they were right back out on the streets. And so criminals were free to be criminals without any real repercussions for their crimes. And so crime became rampant. It became blatant, not just in retail stores, but also in private homes. And that also helped fuel drug activity also in California. So Proposition 36 was a movement not by Sacramento, not by political leaders of our state, but it was a grassroots movement that was initiated by local leaders and the residents of California that rose up and said we've had enough of this crime, and we want criminals held accountable for the crimes they're committing. And so they initiated what became known as Proposition 36, which would properly classify certain crimes as felonies that should be felonies. So now when somebody walks into a department store and steals something, they can get arrested and be charged with a felony. So that was a grassroots movement of the people that rose up. They went through the ballot measure process, and Prop 36 effectively became law in December of 2024. So that is a prime recent example of direct democracy that works. But it's often impractical due to the number of signatures that are required and the costs that are associated with that. So you say, well, what does that have to do with Restore California? Because Restore California, what we're doing is we are building a coalition of people just like you, residents of California, that are saying, hey, I want to see California restored in the ways that we're proposing: crime, homelessness, education reform, healthcare reform, etc. Again, you can learn more by going to restoreca.org. We're developing a coalition, right? A family, a community. We're uniting the people of California. And then we can come together and say, hey, we want these laws amended. We want these laws changed. So many laws in California do not work for the average, everyday Californian. And because we are united, because we are part of a coalition, then getting the number of signatures required to get on the ballot measure isn't going to cost us millions of dollars because we already have that community in place. So how is Restore California going to restore California? One, by building a coalition, which we are actively doing. And two, going through the legal process, through ballot measures, via direct democracy, to tell our political leaders, here's how this state needs to be run so that it works for everyday Californians. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, I'm Brandon Jones. Check out restoreca.org, and thank you for watching.